What is up, viewers? It's Ultimate5 here, and today I'm doing reviewed number 15, and I'm going to be reviewing Marvel's The Avengers, the fifth and final movie in Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Now, The Avengers. This was a really, really good movie. It is by far one of my favorite Marvel movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Well, Civil War was pretty good, but this was the first time you actually see everyone kind of come together for their own movies, because you have all these. It's kind of like this big like this. The Avengers was the big setup for everything, because ever since Iron Man came out, you have all these characters that they're in your own universe, and you realize that they're all coming together in their way of making a way to connect all these characters so that they can come together in this one big movie and become the team called the Avengers, which is the comics. So this movie was fantastic. I loved it. Um, the only thing that I thought that they just kind of made, it was just a little silly, and it kind of nods. It kind of, well, it doesn't really nod, but like it kind of shows what they did in the Flash too. So the only thing I didn't really like about this movie, there's only one thing, and that's Captain America's uniform. The one that is featured in this movie, The Avengers, and that is the one where it looks like he can peel away the front part of his uniform, and I didn't like that. And also the helmet looks like it's kind of like with the Flash, where he can peel back his helmet and then put it back and then put it back on when he wants to. It's kind of like with Captain America, this one. It just didn't feel like Captain America. But it was awesome. I think my favorite moment of this movie was when you see Hulk roaring, and they have Hawkeye, or Clint Barton, because that's what he called himself really. Um, Although Iron Man does call him Legolas, and it's kind of funny that way. Um, but yeah, he does that. So he does this bow thing, and then you have Thor doing this, like this, and then you have Black Widow cocking her gun, and then Captain America with his shield. That moment was so awesome. I mean, because you have the Avengers, and that's like the best part of the Avengers ever. Um, and then there are many great quotes from that movie. Like I like the part in the movie where not Loki, Thor is on the helicarrier, and Black Widow, or Natasha Romanoff, uh, well, she replies after Thor says, Loki is of Asgard, but he's my brother. And then Black Widow goes to say he killed 2 people in 2 days. He killed, I think it's 20 people and 20 million people. I don't even know. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was quite a number of people in 2 days. And then Thor goes on to say he's adopted. And actually, there was a unnecessary censorship video that I saw where instead of saying killed, they bleeped it, so it actually said, so it says she so it says he bleeped that, meaning sexual relations. Anyway, that's just kind of funny because I find it funny. Um, anyway, so yeah, there are many word quotes in this movie. Let's see, the really, I think the best quote ever. There's many great lines from this, like when the big fish, or the big like reptilian alien things, that the big worm thingies come down to Earth, and they're about to, and then Iron Man's like, I'm bringing the party to you, and Buck was like, that's not, I don't think that's a party. And then um you have Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and he starts going up, and then Captain America is like, Dr. Banner, right now might be a really good time for you to get angry. And then he says, that's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. And then he turns into the Hulk and smashes the big thing. And then this is just, there's so many great. things from this movie about this movie that were made awesome. So, I mean, like I said before, the only bad thing about this movie that they kind of, in my opinion, that's the only thing they did wrong. They did kind of like silly was the uniform of Captain America. That was the only thing they got that was just kind of about it. Um, I love the scene where Captain America is commanding orders, and then uh, he just before he gives, he's like, "You and I will stay here, keep things keep the running here," and Hulk, and then Hulk's like, smash, and Hulk's like, he just jumps up and starts smashing things. Um, that was awesome. And I think the best quote from this entire movie was when it was Hulk versus Loki, and he's like, "Enough! I above you all, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by it." And then Hulk takes him up and starts smashing. Is like, and then you have Loki going like that, and and then the first time that Hulk actually says something, he's only gonna say it once in the entire movie. He says, "Puny God." That was the best line ever. That was like the best scene ever in that entire movie. Um, and also like the Iron Man suit ups where he jumps out the building. He um he has the Iron Man suit tagged him and he can get on. But also, I just gotta see that the perfect scene was when everyone's assembling, and you have Iron Man. You got Hulk going roar, and then you have Hawkeye going this, and you have Thor do this, and then you have um everyone, and then you have in the background you have Iron Man going this, like fully coming down. That was awesome because just I mean, the one thing I really wish that they would have kept in this movie, and for some reason they didn't. Well, at least for the first half of the movie, I think they had. I think he changed the suit um, to the one without because the thing is in the first half of the movie you see Iron Man with the suit that he wears in Iron Man 2, the one he wore he made new elements with a triangle shape arc reactor thing. It's like it's basically a reactor just with a triangle instead of a circle, um, pretty much. And he's in that armor for the duration of the movie, and then for some reason I don't remember how, but because I haven't seen it in a long time, but I do remember a lot of the movie. This is why I'm doing a review on it. Um, I mean, I've seen it pretty recently actually. It's been at least a few. It's been within the last few years. Um, yeah, at least within the last year or two, I've seen this movie, and I do remember. That's why I'm doing a review on it. If I didn't remember any of the movies I've been doing a review on, I really wouldn't have did a review on them. um, I mean, I know it's a good idea to actually watch them beforehand, but this movie I didn't really do it because I remember every aspect of it. Um, but I just noticed that they didn't do that in the movie. Um, they had it for duration of the movie, and then when they're all assembling, he has the circle on it. I mean, I don't hate that, but it didn't make sense. And then the Stanley cameo was kind of boring because that's all he is superheroes in New York. No, sorry. I'm trying again. I kind of get the New York accent here. Superheroes in New York. Give me a break. Sort of like that. I can't really do a Stanley accent or a New York accent, but yeah, this movie was great because the villain Loki, he was badass. He was so awesome. It's my favorite. Like he's just my. I mean, he's not my favorite villain, but I have a friend who is obsessed with Loki, and I have to admit Loki is pretty awesome. Um, the relationship between Loki and Thor is crazy in this one because he becomes the enemy and he starts all of them and I also noticed something in the movie that was a kind of nod to the Hobbit movie. Well, it's not much of a nod, and I'm pretty sure that yeah, not really a nod because Hobbit the Battle of Arrakis didn't actually come out until um, 2014, and this movie came out in 2012, so not much of a nod, but it does kind of, I guess, in a way, the Hobbit, Battle of Arrakis does not do this one because there's a scene where Hawkeye or Clint Barton is just he's kind of like he's called Clint Barton more than he's called Hawkeye. I mean, the only time he's ever called like kind of reference to his code name is when they're like, well, and what about the Hawk, which means Hawkeye, um, or Barton, you got your eyes, you get your eyes on the sky or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's a moment in the movie where he runs out of arrows and he runs out of arrows. I mean, that's never happened before, and that's actually something that happens to Legolas in Battle for Armies, which it's pretty funny. But yeah, anyway, so this movie, um, the stunts were amazing. I love the stunts. Um, the Loki scenes were fantastic. There's just so much in this movie that I loved about it. I mean, especially the like. I mean, ever since Iron Man 1, where Nick Fury broke into Tony Stark's apartment. I talked about this in review number 10 for Iron Man. He broke into his apartment. Um, he's like, Tony Stark's like, who are you? And he's like, Nick Fury, Director of Shield. Mr. Stark, you may think you're the only superhero in the world. But you're about to be part of a much bigger universe. You just don't know yet. Why are you here? Mr. Stark, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. And that moment, we realize that it's gonna spark the Avengers. I mean, that's the moment. I mean, ever since Iron Man 1, the Avengers has always been talked about. Like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a movie. Like, this is gonna be the first actual TN movie we've seen in like forever. I mean, okay, X-Men doesn't really count because that's not really much of a. It's like, well, yes, it's assembled, but like, that's not much of a. That's sort of like a. I mean, it is a team, but it doesn't really count as much as the Avengers does because the Avengers actually they built that. They built a universe. They started with Iron Man, and they went through all these movies, and they established characters, and then they all kind of and then the end of each end credit scene, they have so and so will return in the Avengers, or Tony Stark will. I think it was Iron Man 1. It was Tony Stark will return, and then Iron Man 2 said Tony Stark will return in the Avengers, and that all sets up for the Avengers. And Avengers, in my opinion, was one of the best Marvel movies, at least in Phase 1, that I saw. Um, it had so much potential in it. It didn't have any of those like heroes that you. I mean, it didn't have all the heroes in the original Avengers comics. I mean, I've heard that there are like Avengers like Wolverine and Spider-Man and I think Wasp was in there at one point. But then they don't have every one of them, but they do have quite a lot. This movie just had a lot of potential. I mean, the only thing I wish they had included more of is Hulk, because he didn't get a whole lot of screen time. I mean, he got enough, but I mean, I just love love Hulk itself because Hulk was actually voiced by Lou Ferrigno, who played the original Hulk in the '70s show, um, the old 1970s show, um, the Incredible Hulk, which I've seen images of it. It looks terrible. It looks crappy because they didn't even. One of the things about the Hulk in this is he looks realistic. He looks like this. I mean, he looks better than the older Hulk. I mean, I wish they would have brought Edward Norton back in this movie because I mean, I don't know why they recast him. I really don't. I wish they would explain. I mean, when they do recast people, I just wonder why they do it because if you've already, I mean, it's kind of like with Terrence Howard and Dr. Hill. They recast him in Iron Man 2. They didn't explain the change. They just recast him because they could. And for this one, they didn't explain the change. I mean, you obviously know this is Bruce Banner because they say this is Dr. Banner and you already see the Incredible Hulk. But this movie was awesome because it's the first time you see Hulk in action. I mean, ever since the Incredible Hulk. But like, I mean, the great thing about this movie is it's the first time that you actually see an actor who kind of they made his face kind of resemble Hulk, sort of, which was fantastic. I love that part. Uh, every part of that was awesome, especially and also the parts where I think of one of the fun scenes is Black Widow versus Hawkeye, because Hawkeye is at this point is possessed. This is more simple comic book here. So Hawkeye is possessed, and he has to, because Loki, the very beginning of the movie, comes to for a portal and possesses, basically puts his little, he taps his scepter on Hawkeye's chest, and he becomes like possessed or something, um, like mind trick or sort of like he basically he becomes possessed and becomes like mind controlled or whatever, and his eyes red for a brief period of time, for a little bit, and then that's, you can see he's possessed, and then he starts um, being all bad and everything. Um, Same thing with Eric Sullivan, which is a professor in Thor. He comes back in this one. Nick Fury is full on director mode in this one. Actually, there is a moment in the movie where it was fantastically funny, and that's where everyone was like, "All right, we're good." And then there's a character, there's a like one of those unimportant characters you don't really care about, and he's like he's like bored and no one's paying attention, and he starts playing, I think it's Pac-Man or something, or some old arcade game, and like, oh my, I mean everyone in the audience was laughing at that one. But this was a fantastic movie. Um, I don't think anyone expected this would ever happen. Like, this is the movie that no one expected would actually get like made in a movie, because you see all these movies and you're like, oh my god, where is this going? And then you don't actually realize, oh my god, this is gonna be like, because this truly was the first ever team up movie in Marvel history. I mean, the X-Men doesn't really count, um, and like DC, like I said before on the Madhouse, DC just does not know how to build a universe at all. They don't establish their characters well. With the Marvel universe, and for this movie, the Avengers, they really like established the characters. I mean, yeah, well, it wasn't until like maybe 2 hours into the movie that you finally got to see the Avengers in action, like assembling. Um, but it was, I mean, just the score was tremendous. The soundtrack of the Avengers was awesome. Like I mean, you already know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that score was awesome. Um, I just love the scenes, especially where the first time you see Bruce Banner transform to Hulk, at least in the Mark Ruffalo Hulk, transform into the Hulk. That was awesome, um, because they're all damaged and everything, and he's getting he got to get angry. I don't know why he's getting angry. I guess he's just mad because the helicarrier got hit, and so he's like under this block of whatever, and starts and then Black Widow's like, Bruce, you're okay, right? And he's like, shut up, because he's starting to get angry because of what happened to the helicarrier, and then he starts like to grow and change into the Hulk, and then looks back at Natasha Romanoff, and he's like, I'm sorry. And we look at him eye, he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this, but I have to, and then he runs, and then he like I think one of the best lines for the co-pilot is "Target angry, target angry." Because I mean, I love the Hulk. He's my favorite Marvel character. I mean, at least for powers, because he's the only two. He's one of the two characters that actually has powers in the Marvel universe before Civil War came out. Aside from Ant-Man, I mean, he's the only one with the actual 91 powers. His power is super strength. He can do things. But the character of the Hulk portrayed in this movie was fantastic. I mean, he didn't get a whole lot of screen time, but the moment he transformed, he was part of the Avengers. It really kicked off something amazing, and I loved it. I loved the entire movie. Was awesome. Yeah, it was a long movie, but it was fantastic. But the post credit scene was great too. I mean, the only thing that I'm really kind of I'm worried about. I mean, not really worried about, but like I was. So you didn't really. So at the end of the Avengers, you see Thanos for the first time. I wasn't Thor Loki, but I said Thanos for the first time. You see him, and you hear at the end of the movie, you have um, humans. They were not what we promised us, and then I think there's a guy in the scene with Thanos who speaks, and he's like, to challenge them is to court death. And then the camera panels to Thanos, who just looks at the camera, kind of like eyeballs the camera, and goes like this. He goes, just smiling, and it's like really creepy. And then at the very end of the movie, because there's a point in the movie where they apparently they won, and he's like, "Did we get him, guys? I was supposed to say we did it." Um, and they're talking about this former joint, which is basically a rap shop, um, that where they make raps, and they finally get the scene where they have trauma. It's funny, um, but this was a fantastic movie. Uh, there's really great lines in this movie. It had a fantastic script. I mean, I have mentioned before on previous episodes of this show. I don't really pay attention to the script at all. I mean, I think I might have talked about it on the podcast, but I don't really pay attention to the script at all. I don't care about the director. I don't care about the acting. I just care about the movie that I enjoy. It doesn't. And I've seen pretty bad movies, and I don't really care. And I've seen the movies and I have really bad reviews, and I've seen it and it was good, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, this was really good. There was so much like action and so much good lines. Um, I loved it. It was fantastic. It was a point in the movie. I was on the helicarrier and and Tony Stark is complimenting Bruce Banner on. He's like, I loved your theory on whatever I think it was I love your theory on molecular biology, and I'm a big fan of how you lose control and turn to an enormous grenade monster. And then Bruce Banner's like, thanks. It's like he doesn't know what to say. Like, oh well, someone's complimenting on my anger issues. I probably should say something. It's like, well, thanks, I guess. I don't know what to say, because I don't really, yeah, because, like, if you were asked about your anger issues, the fact that you turned into a big green Rhino monster who destroys everything in its path, it would probably be hard to say anything, because, like, just because that. But this Hulk, I love this Hulk, and, I'm really, I mean, so far in the news, there haven't really been rumors of another standalone Hulk movie, which is I've been wanting. Um, in Thor Ragnarok, which is coming out in 2017, there are going to be a Thor, Loki, and no, not Loki. Yeah, well, Loki's going to be in, but Hulk's going to be in that too, which is going to be awesome. But for this movie, it was awesome because every aspect of it was good. They really set up. They really took their time to set up for the Avengers. It made everyone excited. I mean, unfortunately, the fact about Marvel doing 2 to 3 movies a year, except for 2012. 2012 was the only year they did not make a movie, um, or I mean, movie besides the Avengers. And the Avengers was excuse me, it was really good. I really liked it. There was so much in this movie that I loved. I don't think there's anything about the movie I hated. The only thing I thought was a little odd was Captain America's uniform and the new Hulk, because of wanting everyone to be back, because he did a really good job of that movie. Um, and you also get Phil Coulson in this movie. He's a central character in this movie, and he actually gets killed off in this movie. Sadly enough, he gets killed off by Loki from the Scepter. Although he actually comes back in the TV show Marvel's Agents of Shield. Um, it's actually a story. I mean, I'm not gonna do a review on that because it's just a lot. It's a whole series. Um, but I'm just gonna briefly summarize what happens to him. So he starts to in the Avengers, he's killed off, and everyone's shocked by it. But they still have to protect the Earth from Loki. And he it reveals that he had something to do with the project and he was revived by scientists. Um, and that's why he basically lives again. Um, but this movie was fantastic. There, I mean, there was so much in this movie. It was great. I mean, I love the chemistry between Captain America and Agent Coulson. That chemistry between that was awesome. The Maria Hill scenes were, I mean, she's not really much of an important character, but it was really, really good. I just, there's so much in this movie I love. There's not anything I didn't like. It was really, because it was really good. I mean, it was this, I mean, well, the lines were really good. I mean, Tony Stark, the Tony Stark's character was great. Robert Downey Jr. did a really, really good job portraying Tony Stark in this one. It just did a really, I mean, it was, I mean, I mean, the funny thing about the Avengers was the team consisted of a billionaire playboy philanthropist in a mechanized suit of armor that had the power to project propulsion blasts and fly, because it's a flight suit too. You have a master archer, you have an assassin, you have a um, Norse mythology god with the power of lightning. You have a big green rage monster, and you have a World War II super soldier. I mean, if that's a team you have, that's kind of weird. But I mean, honestly, it was. I mean, seeing what they're doing with the Marvel universe, um, and I'll get to that more in the next few weeks when I get to Phase 3. But what I'm seeing with the Marvel universe is they're doing a lot of they're adding more characters in to the already extensive universe. Um, I mean, honestly, Hulk and Iron Man will always be my favorite characters in the the old Avengers, in the Avengers. They'll be always my favorite character. Of course, Spider-Man is in the Avengers now, but Hulk itself. I mean, I'm really sad that they're never really considering another movie, because there's already been like two. There's been two of them, and of course, Marvel was just saying that he thinks Hulk only deserves to be in like the Avengers movies, and that's understandable. I get that, but I just this movie was there was so many action scenes. There was nothing about it that I hated, because it has so much action. It really kind of it escalates quickly to points, and I mean, it felt like in the beginning of the movie it was really slow and kind of just started out, and then when we finally got to New York, you finally get to areas of things. And then there's also a really funny scene in. I mean, it's briefly funny, but there's a scene in um, where they get to this place. Hulk and Thor get to this place, and Thor's like looking at Hulk, like, yeah, we did it. And then and Hulk's like, he's like, go off. It's like, just shut up. I mean, that was awesome. Um, but yeah, there's not much else I can really say about this movie besides what I've said already. Um, I know I'm going pretty long here, because there's a lot of this movie that I loved. And there's just so much in the movie that I loved. Um, it is, I have to say, it's one of my favorite out of the two better movies that they've made. And I'll get to the next one when I get to it. But this is my favorite Avengers movie that Joss Whedon has made, especially since Joss Whedon directed it. And he also directs. He actually his career Agent Shield. But this movie was fantastic. It really was. Um, I loved it, because they set up for everything. They really because they had a setup. Because it started with Iron Man, and they have all the setup, and they started referencing this team that they're gonna build, especially in Incredible Hulk. Because what I told you, we're gonna be a team. I was gonna get another team, and then it turned out the team is the Avengers, and the Avengers is a team that basically it's the Avengers Initiative. It's protecting the Earth, and of course Loki is the person behind it, because he wants power, and so he decides to take over the Earth with aliens and Chitauri, which are the aliens in the movie. But this movie was so good. I mean, it really was. Just I just I don't know what it was about this movie. It was so good. It's just the first actual team up of a superhero team we actually get to see, besides the X-Men, like, that's actually established. Although I really wish that it made it more comic accurate with Thor because he in the comics, he has a helmet. You know, like Loki has a helmet, and you only briefly see him wear it, like for like maybe a couple minutes in the beginning of Thor, and then he takes it off and that's it. It's like, why would you take it off? I mean, I think I talked about this in my Thor review. The question is, why would you take a a piece of a comic. You take a character and you only let them wear it briefly in the movie, and then you take it off. It's like, but that's the whole point of the movie is to have that part of the costume on, or the suit, or the armor, whatever you call it. And just it sucks, but it was a good movie. I love the Nick Fury character. Um, he really is a good character. I mean, obviously he wasn't actually black to begin with. He was a white character in the comic. I think he's portrayed as a white character in a lot of the original movies. But this movie was such a good movie. I loved it so much. It's one of those movies that you want to go back to and see over and over again, and it always will be. I mean, it's just a fantastic movie. There's nothing I really hated about it. I mean, nothing at all. I mean, it has so much in it that I love about it. And I mean, they have there are some references in it that you don't really catch until you watch later movies, but um, I just I mean I think if there's one scene that was just tense, was the scene between Captain America and Iron Man, or the scene that they were doing. It was just Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, where so you have Steve Rogers say, um, "Big man, a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?" And then Tony Stark makes a comeback with billionaire playboy philanthropist, and that was just like, I mean, obviously that's set for Civil War, but like the dynamic of that relationship between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, it's just amazing how that tension between two people can get, two primary Avengers can get in a situation like that. I mean, I've seen so many things on that particular scene, but this movie was such a good movie, especially the Iron Man scenes, because you see Stark Tower, and then at the very end, especially at the very end, you see. I think the funny part about that movie is at the very end you see all the letters fall off of these, because you have the Stark Tower, and then and at the end of the movie you see him constructing the new Avengers Tower, and you see this little part you see there's where it's a bunch of rooms for each of the Avengers, and then you see at the very end of the movie you see every letter except for A left. I think you see a little bit of the S remaining. It's a little just a little piece of the S left, I think. But the only thing that's remaining is the A, and then of course in the next movie and the next Avengers movie that gets fixed. And I'll go into that next time. So yeah, that's all I can really. That's literally all I can say for this movie. I think I've said all I can really say. Um, yeah. So that's all I can. Yeah, that'll do it. Um, so yeah, thank you for watching this week's episode of Reviewed. If you liked it, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Like what you saw. And I love. All I can say is I really love this movie, and if I can rate it, I would give it a just because of Captain America's uniform in this movie, I'm gonna get it at a 9.5 out of 10. If it wasn't for Captain America's uniform in this movie, I would give it a 10 out of 10, but because of Captain America's uniform in this movie, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10, because that's the only thing that I didn't like about the movie. So yeah, that's all I can say. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for watching. As always, Ultimate Sonic Figure here. So yeah, please stay tuned for next week's episode. I'll see you then. Alright.